Hey, what's going on? How are you guys today? Sorry about the live stream yesterday. So for those of you that I'm sure a lot of you guys were like waiting yesterday, Saturday around 3 o'clock to do the Black Lives Matter protest live stream, but and I was a little bit worried about this. My phone ended up overheating literally like 3 or 4 minutes into the live stream, so we basically couldn't do it. The only way is, I mean, if I brought like an ice pack down, or if I had some type of different device that didn't overheat for the live stream. But uh, either way, we're here today, and hopefully some of you guys are able to tune in on this Sunday. So whatever you guys would like to talk about, if you guys want to ask me questions about what happened yesterday, it was a little bit nutty. Any Verizon trucks outside? Take the case off of it. Oh yeah, I did have a case on the phone. So what if I took the case off the phone? It wouldn't have overheated as easily. I don't know. It's just the live streams are tough because it just seems like every time I've tried to do a live stream outside, the phone just overheats almost immediately. But maybe we'll try it again. But how are you guys today? I mean, we'll see whatever this live stream is focused on, and then we'll change the title if you guys don't want to talk about this protest stuff. But and I'm sure most of you guys saw the video earlier today on my channel, and it was really just a bunch of nonsense. I'm gonna publish maybe one or two more videos. One video is going to be just interviewing people about the Second Amendment. And another video that I might not post is this guy that has a YouTube channel was talking about how the NYPD is funding like the prison industrial complex, which is kind of like, the guy was kind of a dick. So I don't really want to give him a plug, even though he was it was a good conversation. He was kind of nice. But what's up, Frank? How's your day been? It's been really unusual. My dad's been having like manic episodes the past 2 days, and today was the worst. I literally woke up and he was like freaking out, like, you need to leave this house now because you went outside yesterday. And he was just absolutely freaking out. And for those of you guys that don't know, I've been trying to get a loan to get my own property and move out. So I used to have an apartment in Brooklyn, and then I moved with my grandma after I had my jaw surgery. And after I had my jaw surgery, I wasn't sleeping at all. So I moved into my parents and I started sleeping okay because it was a lower Wi-Fi environment. So basically my goal has been to save up enough money to be able to get a property where I can sleep properly, or at least get the jaw surgery to remove the plates from my head. But basically my dad was like freaking out, telling me, okay, you need to move out now. And I've been like, just no logical thinking whatsoever. Like, I've been looking for the past few months. I've been applying for loans the past few months to get a property. And my parents are just acting really crazy. Because I can't like with all my businesses and stuff right now, it's just putting me in a tough situation. How old are you? It's kind of a ridiculous scenario. Like I was so this is the whole, let me explain. I guess I'll explain the context for you guys, and you guys can give me advice on what to do. So the timeline is really important, and if I didn't have the businesses, it wouldn't matter really. You need to do a video called "What Media Won't Tell You About George Floyd." You need to see a video called "What the Media Won't Tell You About George Floyd." I mean, we've probably gone over a lot of that stuff. Can you rent an apartment? No. So here's the issue with renting an apartment. So we have the business Frankie's Free Range Meat, and we're getting into the new space this month. So what I can do is I can move all of my company's stuff to that space. So I can move the stuff out of my parents' house. Because the main reason I moved to my parents' house was because I couldn't sleep. And then I bought the gym equipment there. I got the supplement company stuff there. I got the Frankie's Naturals products there. And I can't do that stuff in an apartment because it'd be too difficult to do. I don't have the storage space or the stuff to make it. If I put all the stuff in the new facility for Frankie's Free Range Meat, that might work, but then I have to be in the Bronx. The main issue is I have the plates in my head and I'm really Wi-Fi sensitive. Grain eaters are going mad. Vitamin B deficiency makes you go crazy. Yeah, his brain and body are probably rotted from watching CNN the past few months and eating garbage. I'm 100% sure he's vitamin deficient. I just don't know what to do. because I have, so it hypothetically, if I have to move somewhere tomorrow, this is the issue. One, I have enough money, but like if I'm going to start spending 3,000-4,000 a month in rent, I'm not going to be saving any money. The other difficult part about that is then that'll add more man hours to the business. So right now, since I'm with my parents, I can just fill the orders and do Frankie's Naturals and do organ supplements kind of whenever I want. But if I move the stuff to the Frankie's free-range meat facility, I have to go down there every single day, which is going to be a lot. I don't know. It's just it's not a good. And then if all this, so let's say I do that. Let's say, did you see snaps about flu? I'll talk. What am my father? I don't know. I don't know what my dad's mad about. He's literally just going crazy. Yesterday I made my sister pasta, and the pasta was cooling off in the pot. And I just said, hey, don't put the pasta away. It needs to cool off for a few minutes. And he threw the pasta across the room and got angry at me and started muttering like, I don't get any respect. It's literally, I don't get any respect. It's literally just wacko crack. He's literally lost his fucking mind. Like, so I'm just trying to think in my head. If let's say I do this. Let's say I get, the only feasible thing for me to do would be, if I can find an apartment or a house to rent. Problem number one with that is I would need to shield it and put, literally encase the fucking whole thing in aluminum to be able to sleep. That's the main issue. So I can afford an apartment or a house or something to rent, like a 1-bedroom to rent, but I'd have to shield it. Or if I had a house like my parents have, or a property or something, I wouldn't have to really worry about shielding it. So and then the other element to that is the weightlifting stuff. If I did move out, I don't have the gym anymore, and no gyms are open, and I wouldn't have access to the weight training stuff. So it would really throw a wrench in my plans for the most part. Build an office in the new facility and live there. Well, no. The issue is the new facility is a commercial space in the middle of the Bronx. Why not rent an apartment or house outside on a more urban area so it's much cheaper for a larger space? I can't afford to rent a house. It's too much money. I couldn't pass the income requirements to get it. And the main issue, guys, is the plates in my head make it so I can't sleep in a city or an urban area without making a Faraday cage. I'd have to live in it's kind of stupid. Was your father always like this? It's been getting worse and worse. There are apartments with gyms inside. Guys, you don't understand. The main issue is I have titanium plates in my head and screws in my head from jaw surgery. When I went down to the city a few days this week, I had unbearable headaches. The second I got home, I had to lay down. How much is it to rent a house further north of you? I was looking for houses that were up to $2,500 a month to rent, and I didn't find anything. So it's just a really shitty. I guess let me try to sum it up. So one is, with this virus stuff going on, no one is renting or showing places right now. So there's the virus element to it. It's hard to find stuff. Two, I can't sleep unless it's like, I basically can't sleep in the place unless it's a house. I'd have to cage it. Three, if I do find an apartment or a place, so the hypothetical scenario is I find an apartment that has access to, if I want to keep my life going the same way it is right now, I find an apartment that I cover in aluminum, and I have access to a gym, and I drive back and forth to the facility every single day. I'd probably lose my fucking mind, to be honest. I can barely do what I'm doing now. I don't know. I guess you guys can let me know your thoughts on that, because my brain isn't working. What happened with the Asian girl yelling at you? I didn't really talk to her. I just this girl saw the 5 grams flyer in our hands, and we were handing it out, and she just started yelling about it. Everyone, yeah, I can relate. Everyone in my family always seems to be in a bad mood, always yelling. I mean, they're just not thinking straight. I don't understand. They can't have a normal conversation. They act like children. You can 100% rent a house in the suburbs. Well, I mean, all the houses I looked at near me, it was like $3,500, $4,000 a month. I can't afford that. As I said, the problem with all the rooms is I'd have to shield it somehow. Frank, when you get to 100K, YouTube will probably send you a 5-gram sell inside the play button. You have any friends looking for places that you can split the rent with? I don't really know. Are you gonna take your parents to your farm? I don't know. It's all $2,500 for 1 bedroom. Guys, it's fucking New York. Like, you guys don't, like, I don't know. If I had a means to move out, I would have fucking done it already. But take all the business products out of your parents' house and stay in the garage anyway, away from parents. What do you mean stay in garage? It has nothing to do with that. She was angry that you took attention away from the racial bullshit. Well, it's kind of contradictory because it's kind of funny because the Black Lives Matter stuff and all the protests are completely staged and set up. And she was basically telling me, you're distracting people from the message here. And I was like, no, they're distracting you from this. It's kind of funny. It's literally, you know, that like that Asian girl was literally falling into what they want, just believing the main media. Come down to Texas. You guys do understand I have a business in New York that I'm obligated to, right? $5 grams makes you stay awake. It's like amphetamine. No, if you're in a high Wi-Fi environment, you can't sleep because of it disrupts the calcium channels in your body, and a bunch of things happen and you can't sleep. Have you had any conversations with your mom about your dad's behavior? I have the same situation, but my dad is the reasonable one. I don't really. She doesn't really care. She just says, "Oh, I mean, my mom kind of does her own thing all week. Like this week, she's been obsessed with furniture and buying stuff on Wayfair, and then like my dad just acts crazy most of the time. And then as soon as it goes out of control, I don't really know. I think they're just all crazy." And then my brother texted me earlier like, you need to move out. And my brother is literally like, it's funny because my brother is like dating this. My brother has like a really good job out in California. Like he's got a master's in physics. And he met this like 19-year-old college girl, and he's literally relocating to be with this 18-year-old college girl. And after he sent me that message of like giving me advice, I told him to go fuck his ugly ass girlfriend. Like, I'm not fucking listening to you if you're gonna do something like that. Can you talk about the job where you teach special needs people how to cook? I don't really. I try to keep my main job private from everything, as vegans have attempted to ruin everything I do. I mean, the diet my dad follows definitely has something to do. Definitely has something to do with his mental health. It's been declining. His health has been declining more and more. He's kind of been eating whatever. He basically, I don't really know what he eats every day. I haven't really seen what he eats because I work so much. I'm not really in the kitchen. The few times I've seen him in the kitchen, he's just been eating cookies. I know he doesn't eat any. He pretty much eats mostly bread, pasta, and cookies. So he definitely has some. He's probably having some neurological issues from lack of B vitamins and lack of omega-3s. But my dad's had a couple manic episodes, particularly the times have lined up for when he hasn't really been eating any meat for long periods of time. And the same thing happened with his mother. My grandmother, who was diabetic, lost her mind basically. Try supplement 3 or... I mean, the boron stuff is up in the air. I probably have to do a separate video on boron, but a lot of those trace minerals and stuff, like people aren't really deficient in them. There might be, if you're following like a really crappy standard American diet, you might be, but it's usually not stuff you have to supplement. It's just way too much. It's just nonsense on top of nonsense on top of nonsense. And the virus stuff makes everything pretty much impossible, if not difficult to do. You can't do anything business-wise. You can't do anything property-wise. You can't really do anything. Any suggestions on protein intake to lean out? I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. I wish the bodybuilding stuff would have taken off, but since all the gyms are closed and who knows how much longer they'll be closed for, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do my workout routine. My parents are divorced. My sister's a communist vegetarian who thinks she's a man. My mother has married a soy boy with 80 IQ. My father's bitter and turned against life. The family's dead. This is tragic. People destroying themselves when they have the means to change, but they refuse to do it. Well, no, I mean, people are so indoctrinated and they've been taught their whole lives that like things like diet and exercise and stuff like that doesn't matter. And the main reason is people don't want to believe the contrary of what they've been told their whole lives, because it would force them to change, and change means you can't lay around all day and do nothing. Everyone thinks I'm crazy when I talk about the New World Order. I mean, this is the thing. Like, if you just bring up the simple fact that we've been locked in our homes for 4 months and that's never happened in history, it's ridiculous. If people don't wake up to something like that, it's ridiculous. People on YouTube are still giving bodybuilding and nutrition advice as if everything is normal. Weird to see. Yeah, I've said that several times in my videos over the past few weeks. Like, how is it that these YouTube channels and these people are just giving fitness advice and health advice and they're still getting views, they're still getting pushed in the algorithm? It's absolutely despicable. Like, what do you mean? The gyms are closed. A lot of supermarkets don't even have healthy food. And even if they do have healthy food, most people lost their jobs and they can't afford to buy healthy food. I mean, to me, bodybuilding and fitness and stuff in general might be dead forever. Part of me has wanted to quit the bodybuilding stuff in general, as much as it would be, positive for a marketing perspective from my channel. But just what everything going on in the world right now, it's hard to imagine, especially these protests getting crazier and crazier and crazier, which means things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's hard to think that bodybuilding is going to be practical when you have to eat a large amount of food every day, work out every day for a period of time. It's like the opposite. It's basically a second job and you're not getting paid for it. I'm getting a little bit of a headache, guys, so I'm gonna end the Instagram live stream and I'll see you guys on YouTube, Frank Tufano on YouTube, if you guys want to continue. Do you find the bodybuilding world to be stupid? I mean, yeah, I think it's stupid and it's a waste of time, but for some reason, a lot of people are interested in it and still interested in it, the fitness aspect. So if I can do that and market myself to that, I might as well. But with how the gyms are closed and how everything's going right now, it's difficult. So we're ending the Instagram live stream and we're just going to be on YouTube now, guys. Can you share your Second Amendment flyer, please? It's on. I think the website is societyoforder.com. When will you have more cookies on Frankie's Free Range Meat? Are they actually healthy? No, I mean, the cookies are definitely healthy. When will we have them? I'm not really sure. Probably not for... We don't really know, because we're moving into the new facility. We don't have access to ovens. We did want to get a company to produce the cookies for us, but the virus threw everything upside down. I mean, the problem isn't really that, I might have to leave. It's just that, my current businesses and obligations I basically need a certain type of facility to run my businesses out of. I need space. This is basically what I need. I need something away from Wi-Fi infrastructure. Basically, it has to be like a house. It can't be an apartment. I basically can't live in the only two requirements I have, I can't be in an apartment because of the Wi-Fi frequency, so that rules out like condos, like places like the Bronx where houses are really close to each other, because I can't sleep in those. And I need storage space. What about adapting to the world as a survivalist, minimalist, healthy living, sustainable, functional model for being healthy? I mean, I have like, I don't think this is getting through to some of you guys. Like, I have a YouTube channel that I have to film videos for every day. That requires electronic infrastructure, access to a computer, editing software, a lot of hours on the computer. I have the meat business based in New York right now. The business is based in New York, and we're providing stuff for people in New York. I have it, but I can't, guys. It has to be in New York. That's not. I can't move somewhere. If I could move somewhere else, I would have already. Anyone see the expert's opinion that it's safe in the pandemic to protest racism, but not to protest the lockdown? It's this. I can't take it anymore. People are so brainwashed. What was really funny to me was when I was I was only for like a minute, but when I went down to the protest and I wanted to get a couple more people to hand out flyers, because I literally hired 10 fucking people on Craigslist and not one person showed up out of 10 people. So I was like, all right, maybe we'll go down to the protest. We'll get a few more people to hand out the flyers. And I literally said, not one person wanted to hand out flyers for $20 an hour. Minimalism is part of the agenda? Probably. I mean, it definitely is. Minimalism is definitely part of like the socialist New World Order bullshit, getting people to live like slaves. How about moving back to your grandma's? Well, I can't, because the reason then if I moved into my grandma's, then I'd have fucking all my relatives complaining about how I was living with my grandma and how I'm going to get her sick by going out. Yet my grandma's going to the fucking supermarket every day. Was the Christian video I sent you the correct one? Guys, I've been really exhausted. I haven't gone through those emails yet. Life and nutrition coach. I mean, that's pretty much what I do now. And literally one day, George Floyd became the only relevant thing in this country, and the virus is pretty much an afterthought. Crazy how the media can just pull strings like that. No, it's funny. It's funny. It's like literally what is it? I mean, when did the George Floyd stuff start? But literally like a day or two before that, a week and a half ago, is everyone was worried about the virus. It's crazy. Everyone's very reactive and lives on a day-by-day basis. $20 is almost like nothing now. I mean, I don't know what kind of jobs you guys work. Like, how much are you going to pay someone to hand out fucking flyers? Isn't $20 an hour a lot to hand out flyers? Is fasting part of the New World Order? I did a video on that, or I talked about it in one of my videos. I don't remember which one, but I thought it was very suspicious that the mainstream media started pushing fasting. I was like, hold on a second. If the mainstream media is pushing fasting, you know we're fucked. Because that means there's something's going to happen where they want people to be used to not eating, which is not good. We skipped murder hornets, but they'll come back when the 5 grams kills the bees. Do you think Floyd and the cop who murdered him were Mason actors? I talked about this many times on the live stream. It's all a setup. It was all an act. And that's the sad part. It was all literally a staged event to start this nonsense. It's still full-on CV propaganda in my country, although the mortality rate is literally 0.x%. You know, the problem, and again, I've also said this a couple times, the sheeple will be the downfall of everyone else. If 90% of people listen to the media, despite it being wrong, everyone else is kind of victim to the hive mindset. They have to almost participate in it. The Floyd casket was closed and they had 3 viewings. And they don't have 3 viewings for a president, but did for Floyd. He's likely not dead. Well, here's what's funny. You get this Mason to do, like this low-level Mason, I'm assuming, to act and do this shit. And you would assume, like, they might have promised him something like, oh, you'll be on a private island with Epstein playing with little boys the rest of your life. That's probably what they promised him. So they gave him that. But you would think, at how big of a risk it is to try to do a closed casket, you would think they would have just fucking killed him and thrown him in that casket and made sure that it was George Floyd in that casket. But I guess that's part of the deal. I guess they have to uphold their end of the deal with the Masons. Otherwise, the other Masons would see that they didn't uphold the deal, and then that would be an issue. They do have pictures, and it looks like Floyd is actually attending his own funeral with trying to disguise himself with a face cover up and glasses. Is it a bad idea to start working out and bodybuilding right now? I live in Sweden and the gyms are open. I mean, I wish the gyms were open over here. Your tweets at 3 a.m. are gold. Floyd is counting his cash in the Bahamas. Floyd had the virus so no one could pay final respects. So wait, after someone's dead for a week, the body will still have it? This is funny. I told my mom she has a better chance of getting seriously sick from the pounds of romaine lettuce she buys than the virus, and she rolled her eyes as if I was wrong. It's funny. I've been telling my dad the same thing because he goes to the supermarket every Monday and buys literally like hundreds of dollars worth of shit from the supermarket, like shitty low quality food that has probably been touched by dozens of people. And every time I bring it up to him, he just gets angry. As if it's, oh, we have to do that. I'm like, no, you don't. You could go to a farm and buy food that's only been handled by a few people. I doubt Masons have problems sacrificing or being sacrificed for their cause. That they do worship Satan after all. Floyd is in some gated community now in New Zealand where the 13-year-old girls are blonde and fresh and dancing. Yeah. Frank, maybe it's because they know the sheep will fast but eat standard American diet or grain-fed meat, pesticide-sprayed vegetables, while smart people will refeed and choose to... I mean, I don't know about that. Frank, my university is mandating a vaccine before going back. I mean, I mean that's the part of the new agenda and the new world, and something that's been brought up many times is that they're going to make us vaccinate in order to participate in society. So the idea is, in order to travel, in order to get a passport, in order to do that, you're going to gate things. I mean, it might start with universal basic income. Like, okay, in order to get universal basic income, you have to get vaccinated. So what they've done is they're destroying all the small businesses. They're destroying everyone's livelihood. What everyone's worked so hard for. Yet, my brain's fucking fried today. So the point is, their goal is very clear. They're destroying everyone's livelihood. They want to force everyone on universal basic income. So if you can destroy everything and force everyone to get universal basic income, and then make it a requirement to get vaccinated to receive universal basic income, then everyone is reliant on the government, and they will defend the government, and if anything, promote it, because they want their money and they want to watch fucking Netflix and eat shit all night. It's your Fourth Amendment right not to be vaccinated. I don't know how true this is, but people have been emailing me and telling me that the amendments and the Constitution don't apply to the people of the United States because the United States of America is not where we live. The United States of America is a corporation, and we're not part of the corporation. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's disinfo that's spread to get people to not believe in their amendments. And there's also the idea that, the founding fathers originally were just Masons, and it's all set up in bullshit. So it's hard to know if there's any truth to the amendments whatsoever. I don't think vaccinations will be tied to universal basic income, but they will be required to fly. A huge farmer's market opened near me today, and every cut of meat is all fed corn and soy. Sad that they rip people off and think they're being healthy. I mean, are they marketing it as like grass-fed and like pasture-raised and stuff? I mean, usually what people think it's from a farm and it's automatically high quality. I went to the supermarket the other day and I was going to get a couple of plums, but the lady before me literally squeezed every single plum that was there just to pick out two. That, it is very hypocritical, because if you're buying fruit from the supermarket, it's probably been touched by a lot of people. It's true in a way. We are a Title 28 USC 3002 Section 59 corporation. Courts don't follow the law any longer. They follow commerce codes, and the judge can change or create truth or laws as he sees fit. It's a corporate fraud they set up to use citizens as collateral for debt they defaulted on. The huge sign said pasture-raised meat, and they had a booklet with the animal feed, and every product had corn and soy. That's what the carnivores are doing. They're marketing their meat as sustainable, grass-fed. But Mike, it's funny because just because people have a platform, like the same people that were shoving grain-fed beef down your throat a year ago are now suddenly selling you grass-fed, sustainably raised beef. It's comical. It's comical. Slightly Crazy Vegan made a video about you. Yeah, I know. I saw it. Wait, so if I don't get vaccinated, I won't be able to fly again? Well, we don't know, but it's very likely they're going to do something like that. I don't know if I've done a video focusing on that I've talked about it, but I don't know if I've done a video specifically titled like misleading marketing terms for meat. One video I did want to talk about certain companies like ButcherBox basically selling people supermarket quality meat. Frank, I missed the vegan critiques. Maybe we can start doing some more. Again, guys, for me, it's very difficult to do. I don't know. I don't know if my channel is just really censored or whatever. I would assume that videos on the protests should get more views than a vegan critique. But with how heavily censored my channel is, I don't really know what to do about that. Like I could try. Like I don't know. Maybe if I do a video on a vegan critique, then the video doesn't get censored, so therefore it gets more views. I don't really know. I'm fully convinced that the real elite are in some fuck-off hidden place, raping and eating children daily and laughing at Bill Gates and the rest of the slaves. It's a possibility. The carnivores are realizing that people know grass-fed is healthier, so they're using the lenient laws around labeling meat grass-fed to sell their grain-fed shit. Yeah, basically. You have a lot of like astroturfing companies. Like every single week they'll tell you this new, I don't know, mountain man meat or some shit. They're just selling you dog shit. Do you eat honey now so you eat less fat than usual? There's been a couple of people, probably have to do a video on it. There's been a couple of people that have, basically grifting as usual off of my videos. It's kind of funny how much of an influence I have on the nutrition community on YouTube, and people don't mention my name. There have been several people that have been advocating for a beef and honey diet, which I will say is very dangerous to follow, and I would not do it. But I have to explain this, but if anyone's telling you to follow a beef and honey diet, they have no fucking clue what they're doing. And it's not a good diet to follow. There's a reason I follow it, and there's specific things I do and specific supplements and things I take that I haven't shown you guys that make it. And I've made it very clear, and I think I've made it very clear in my day of eating videos where I've eaten the honey. I've explained to you guys the reason I'm doing this is because I have iron overload issues, and I think I might have even said don't do this. I might have even said don't do this. It's probably not healthy. But now you have a bunch of people that are copying me and saying, oh, I'm eating all this honey, I'm doing a beef and honey diet. I don't know what these people are trying to do, if they're just trying to copy me and get on the jump on the bandwagon, but I don't like it. I don't like how every time I bring something up, someone's trying to. I don't want to harm people. I've had people harm their health And these are people that have come to me for consultations, and they'll say something like, "Oh, someone said this, and I did it, and it was something similar to what was on my YouTube channel," and I was like, "Well, they didn't explain to you this part of it, and this is why you're sick." I recently was going to have to undergo a procedure, and a virus check was necessary, which would require me to have a 12-inch long Q-tip injected into the alien like the movies now way. No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's an issue. Hey, Frank, did you measure the radiation levels during the rally? No, I didn't bring it because I don't have a meter that goes high enough. I should have, though. Someone in the comments said, like, oh, you should tell people that you should go around telling people, like, if you guys get sick in a week, it's because you got radiated at this protest. What's also insane is just the amount of fake, especially on websites like Reddit. On Reddit, it seems like every single post now is fake on the front page. What's wrong with eating honey? Sorry, I missed what you said. I mean, do I really have to explain why a beef and honey diet is bad for you? There's two very obvious components to those foods that are very bad. I'm not going to say them because someone else, if I say what they are and point it out, I mean, I'm assuming these people are intelligent enough to figure out what the concern is, because their comments are probably laden with the things people are concerned about. And I've seen the comment sections of the videos where people talk about beef and honey, and they're littered with people concerned about what I want to say. I just don't want to spell it out and make it even easier for people to understand why the diet is a bad idea. It has to do with mineral ratios. It has to do with certain heavy metals. It has to do with liver stress. Hey, Frank, if you want, you can mod me on your main YouTube so we can delete the shill comments or bots. I mean, I don't really get a lot of shill or bot comments, but I like seeing them. I don't really care if they put them there. I just like seeing what kind of agenda the shills are pushing. It's kind of weird. Like, anytime I try to talk about a topic, they try to bring up like, oh, well, this other person who's part of their shill network talked about this way before you. And it's just, they make stuff up. Because, well, no, they didn't, because I've been on YouTube for 4 years and I made videos before them. It's just gaslighting. It's so obvious Bill Gates wants to use the bioluminescence enzyme called luciferase to inject people along with DNA manipulation for probably full of shill. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a bunch of luciferase? What do you mean? The enzyme is named after Lucifer? Did you post your tweets on Instagram because you have a large following there? I mean, how do you post the tweets on Instagram? I mean, Naomi, I've done so many videos on Michaela, it's ridiculous. They're all part of this nonsense network, but you know, because since these shills keep their message simple, they don't really get involved. They just have a really simple message. Hey, I eat beef and that's it. I eat beef and I do my own thing. That's it. You know, so it's really hard when they don't talk about stuff like this, when they don't talk about other aspects of health. And honestly, it's hard for me to even want to mention these people's names. It's just despicable that they haven't brought up or talked about any of the current events or been honest about anything. I really don't know how can you follow people like fitness and nutrition YouTubers that are pretending like there's nothing going on in the world. And they don't necessarily have to talk about current events or even mention things, but they could say, hey guys, I know there's a lot going on in the world, but I'm still going to just try to focus on nutrition and stuff despite that, because my affiliations and my obligations have made it so I can't really discuss those things. But the stupid part is these people are literally shills and they're part of the agenda and they have to push the agenda. So you have the obvious ones like the vegans that are just using literally blaming the virus on meat and shit. And the vegans, the vegans are obviously part of the New World Order agenda, so they're participating in it. And so are the carnivores. The problem is with these people is they're not honest and they don't have any integrity. And some of them will lie to an extreme extent to make you believe it. These people want you to believe that they're the good guys, that they're the controlled opposition, that following a meat-only diet is good because it goes against the mainstream, but that's absolutely not true. They've been poisoning you with estrogenic feedlot beef and stupid shit. I know it's difficult, but if you could find one decent person with a large following to collaborate with, it would probably boost your subscribers at a faster rate. I mean, I could probably, honestly, at this point, it's funny. I was doing some math yesterday in my head. I was like, okay, if I print out 5,000 flyers and I hire one person to hand them out for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, it would probably get me more YouTube subscribers than fucking advertising on Google Ads. Well, I mean, one issue I have with a lot of these carnivores is they're very dishonest with what they're doing. I mean, we know a lot of them are taking medications and drinking alcohol, and they're not being transparent about that. We know a lot of them are using performance-enhancing drugs, but they're not being transparent about that. Guys, the point is, all these people are a bunch of fucking liars, and it's despicable that they even have a following. It's honestly, like, for me to even address these people or bring them up, it's not worth it because we know they're shills and there's no reason to give them more attention. But you have to get a black activist or they won't receive it. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, some people were taking flyers from me, but like when the black guy was handing them out, they were like, "Oh yeah, give me that flyer." You don't drink alcohol? No, I don't. If you can't fly, then you can drive. Well, I mean, yeah, but how are you going to travel to, like, from the United States to Europe and stuff like that? It was cloudy out earlier, and it's been cloudy out like every day when the UV index has been high. I wonder if I can get a little bit of sun later today. Maybe I'll lay out from like 5 to 6 or something. But tomorrow, hopefully, I can get some sun. United Nations said to vegan, it's a new world order. What are you talking about? What happened with the Asian girl that yelled at you? I answered that earlier. I mean, nothing. I didn't talk to her. She was just like screaming at me. What about Brazil nuts for hypothyroidism? I mean, you could just take selenium and iodine and see if it helps. Melinda Gates wore an upside-down cross on live TV this month. Madonna said she's joining Bill Gates to fight while wearing a shirt with an image of Satan on it. Oh, but I thought QAnon said Trump was going to lock all these people up. Did you hear about the horse on the run in London during the riots? No, I didn't. The best time to lay out is probably from noon to 3 p.m. The chat is a little slow today, so maybe we'll go for like 10, 15 more minutes for you guys. Can grass-fed carnivore and fasting heal fatty liver? I mean, yeah, I can. Removing carbohydrates from your diet is good for fatty liver. But first you want to figure out what the cause of the fatty liver is. Because if you follow a really strict diet and fast, yeah, hypothetically you can remove the fat from your liver. But as soon as you go off of that diet, the fatty liver might come back very, 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 very quickly. So you have to figure out what's causing it, and I mean, technically, fatty liver should resolve itself if the diet and lifestyle is fixed, but a lot of times you have to do something extreme to get rid of the fat in the first place. The concern about grass-fed carnivore and healing fatty liver is, one, the carnivore diet is very high in iron, which can cause liver problems. The carnivore diet doesn't have enough copper to regulate iron in the liver unless you're consuming a lot of seafood, shellfish, if your diet is shellfish based. So you have to supplement copper. And then you also want vitamin D3 and K2 for sure. Why is it that cheese causes constipation, but yogurt and kefir seem to help? Brett, I think I've spoken with you via email several times. You should not be eating dairy. Can you do a video on Tutka? I've used Tutka before. I should maybe I should. You know, I think I got to order. I want to order some more and use some more. I might do a video on it too. To my understanding, Tutka, which for those of you guys who don't know, it's a hyaluronic acid. It's probably one of the only effective things to remove fat from your liver. It actually removes, it's like physically removes the fat from your liver. A lot of the other stuff, it's somewhat effective. You guys might have heard of like alpha lipoic acid, selenium, milk thistle, sulfur, MSM, but Tutka is probably like one of the most effective things on its own. I mean, I don't really work out my forearms. It depends. Like, a lot of people, it really, like, usually, hypothetically, if you had perfect genetics and a really good frame, you would be able to work out all your muscles evenly. But, like, I don't work out my forearms because they already don't look balanced. I mean, I don't know. Some people like the look. It depends on what you're going for. Like, do you want to just have giant, like, if you have good forearm genetics, do you want to have giant forearms and have it be in balance with the rest of your body? Pretty sure Tutka is lifelong caged bears. I don't know how they make it. I don't know if they kill the bear and harvest the bile, or if they're literally like just harvesting bile from live bears. Frank, try and make friends with your dad. Everyone needs to try to stay close to family during these times. I mean, you guys have no idea. I mean, I've been trying to help him. This is the problem. If I've been trying to get him to just eat some meat and some B vitamins so his brain stops rotting away. I don't remember. Listen, my brain is fried because, listen, if I have to remember stuff more than my parents, were screwed, because my brain is completely destroyed between the titanium plates in my head, the allergy medication I used to take, and not sleeping. But I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. My dad took out dinner, a couple things for dinner, like heated them up and everything. Went upstairs to nap, and then he came downstairs and said, "What's this on the counter?" As if he didn't take out the dinner several hours ago. And he forgets where he put stuff too. Like he washes. I don't know what's going on. He's got some. It's like this weird. It's like this. He's got like dementia and he forgets stuff, but he's got this weird control freak obsessive stuff. So like, it's crazy. I'll put a towel and a comb on my bathroom counter, and 10 minutes later it'll be gone. Like he already washed the towel 10 minutes after I used it. But then when he puts the towel away or he moves my brush, he'll forget where he put it. I don't know. It's fucking, he's lost his mind, unfortunately. Forearms are usually trained indirectly from other exercises, yeah. But the main thing I've noticed is the correlation of the B vitamin intake to his mental health. Is he on statins? No, I don't think he is. Do you take a nap every day? Lately, I've been sleeping irregularly because I've been getting headaches from going down to the city, and my sleep schedule has been so off, and I've been so exhausted. Maybe I'd feel better if I stopped the bodybuilding stuff, but listen. I've stuck through the bodybuilding stuff for 9 months now, and I don't want to throw that down the drain. Is hay fever a form of leaky gut? I think every allergy is caused by leaky gut, but it's hard to fix. Then store your towel and your brush in your room and take them to the bathroom when you need them. Guys, you don't understand. When I say my parents are crazy, they're literally crazy. Like I have stuff in my room on my desk, and my dad will come in and fuck with it. And listen, I understand he's trying to help, but I can do those things on my own. It's just I say this a lot to my parents, like, do you want me to call you when I need you to wipe my ass? Because they in a way they kind of like follow me around and wait for me to do something. And it's kind of like childish behavior. Like instead of asking me or telling me to do something, they'll just do like passive aggressive stuff. But I don't think they mean to do that. I think it's part of the mental illness and not having the mental. I don't really know. It's just illogical behavior. Would TUDCA help with detoxifying the liver because of too much retinol? The vitamin A toxicity and the retinol toxicity is something that's very unique and new to Accutane, and I've been trying to figure that out myself. I mean, Grant Genereux and Dr. Garrett Smith, they know a lot about this retinol toxicity stuff, and they're making progress on it, but I think there's a lot that's still not understood. Snake Diet has been missing in action. I have no idea. I don't really follow him or watch him. I didn't even know he was missing in action. Causes of headaches from heavy leg presses I get sometimes in the gym. That's why I stopped deadlifting after I thought I was going to die one day. I was deadlifting up to 4 plates for a couple reps when I was younger, and I just stopped deadlifting. After one day, I felt like I was going to die. I had a brain aneurysm or something. I think it's just a lot of pressure in your head from blood flow and stress. Someone probably knows the answer in the comments, but that's why I stopped the heavy weightlifting stuff, where I literally felt like, I was going to have a brain aneurysm. And there was no point. I was like, why are you trying to kill yourself deadlifting 405 for a couple reps when you can just do 2 plates and get the same hypertrophy with more reps? I mean, I think it's very difficult to get someone to understand what mental illness is, and it's tough because when you talk to someone, in a way, you think that they can think like you do in some capacity, but you have to understand that that's not the real deal. That you have to, it's hard to get people, and some people can, but it's hard to get most people to understand that you're talking to a crazy person and it's not worth talking to them. Like they literally don't understand what words are coming out of your mouth, and they don't have the mental capacity to make sense of it. And it's hard that the solution is to dismiss the person. But should I supplement acerola powder or eat oranges? Well, the amount of vitamin C in oranges is insignificant, and it's not insignificant, but the point is that the vitamin C content of oranges is substantially lower than acerola powder, and carbohydrates are involved in vitamin C. So if you're getting a large amount of sugar or carbohydrates with your vitamin C, it's kind of negating them. I had a parent with dementia, and it was hard. I mean, I don't know how to diagnose dementia, but my parents forget shit they did several hours ago, so I'm assuming they have it. And it's kind of weird. It's almost like I feel like I have dementia sometimes, because I'm like arguing with them. Like I've literally had similar conversations with my parents dozens of times. And it's like the first time, and every time I have the same conversation, it's like I've had the conversation with them the first time. Dr. Garrett Smith says potassium iodide is toxic if you have a thyroid condition and prevents iodine uptake to the thyroid. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I know that, I've heard that if you have toxic halogens in your body, iodine uptake can be inhibited. Mental health and nutrients contributing to it. Well, I mean, B vitamins and DHA definitely cause mental issues. And a lot of vegans go crazy. I mean, we did a video on this, didn't we? We did a video about how a vegan diet will make you crazy because of B vitamin and omega fatty acid deficiency. And we talked about the various mental health disorders and behaviors that schizophrenics and different types of mental health people get. Maybe do a bit of research on dementia and positive ways to handle situations better with him. Well, there's no real situations. I mean, he just acts crazy on his own. That's the problem. Like there's no handling of situations. He's just acting crazy on his own, watching the news. I stopped deadlifting when my nose started to bleed. I thought this can't be good. Yeah, I think anyone with common sense that starts lifting heavy weights will realize it's not a good idea. No, I mean, there's no reason to use ascorbic acid. The only reason I used ascorbic acid is because it's what I had, and I was waiting on the whole food vitamin C powder to come in the meal. And when I was taking the ascorbic acid, I actually didn't research on what it was from. If I knew it was from cornstarch, I would have never used it in the first place, even if it's all I had. But guys, I got to run to the bathroom, so I'm just going to wrap this up now. But thank you guys for joining me. If you guys are watching this later, let me know what you think about the moving situation. It just seems to be too many factors, and seems like a really